Omar, the leadership group was announced. Obviously, you've been part of it for a while now. What is just your reaction to seeing some of the guys and the changes to this group over the years and how it is now?
Yeah, we brought some good veterans to the group. They're going to make impact. Obviously, Goody had the A last year when he had it halfway through the year when Granny got traded. So he's been in that role. And I think it's real nice to have Mac fit into the group. He's obviously a big part of this team already. He's going to be the future of this organization, and it's good to get him in that role pretty quickly. But like Warsaw told us, we got a bunch of leaders in this group. Guys who are leaders in previous teams that they played for at different levels. So we need everybody to step up, and it's going to be really important for us to build on this year.
How have you seen Mac grow from last year to this year, maybe as a leader? You talked about comfortability. How have you seen that, and how has he become more of a vocal leader inside the room?
I think he's been pretty comfortable from the moment he got here. I feel like he's been pretty vocal throughout his entire time here. He's a confident kid, and I think a lot of guys on this team have made him feel pretty comfortable being in this locker room from the get-go. So I've always seen it in him. Now it'll be nice to have the letter actually on his jersey, and see how he takes on that bigger role.
Is there any difference in the room when there is a captain or there's no captain? I mean, you were here the last time the Sharks had like an everyday captain, obviously with Logan a couple of years ago. And so is there much difference or not really the last couple of years?
Well, obviously it was nice to have Logan around.
Sure.
He was an awesome captain. He was a very important part of this team and a big leader, but he's not here anymore, so we have to find a way to try and fill that role that he brought. We might not necessarily be able to do that on the ice in terms of his play, but everybody can bring in their different assets to the game and their different assets of leadership to help fill that role. So obviously, we're missing him as a captain, but at the same time, we have to move on, right? And we have to find a way to adjust and to build our leadership within this locker room, without him now.
I guess going with that though, the day-to-day operation of the team without a C though, is there not much of a difference? Not speaking specifically of Logan, but just not having a C. Is it feel any different or not really?
Well, we can't really think about that. Obviously. Like I said, having a captain on the team is nice, but we're in a situation where we don't right now, and so we have to all come together and all be leaders to fill that role, like I said. So, obviously, I don't want to say it wouldn't be beneficial because then one day, this team will have a C, and then what, right? So obviously, it's nice to have a C, but right now we don't, and that's not going to change how we lead this team. We're still going to all come together and fill that role. So,
I think you had the A all season last year, and this year I think it's just the home games. Is that right, or
I think I have it for away games.
For away games, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did Ryan explain why maybe he made that change in terms of just not having you wear the A all year long? Or?
No explanation. From my point of view, I don't think one was necessary. I'm represented as a leader. I don't think how it comes about home away isn't important to me. Regardless, we got to lead whether I'm at home or on the road. I can't just take a night off of leading. So to me, that wasn't a cause for questioning for him. So no.
You guys got again another couple teenagers on this team, and how does that change? How do you lead in that respect when you got so many young guys in here and? It's not you got some veterans too, but some young guys. Does that change anything in terms of the way you try to help these guys along, and and maybe times hold them accountable, or does it change anything when you get so many young guys in a room like this?
Yeah, there's a time and place to hold guys accountable. To be harder on guys, there's a time and place for sure. For me, I usually like to lead by example in terms of my work ethic. I'm a guy that's going to make a lot of mistakes out there. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect player. I'm not a first rounder. So my biggest thing is just to lead by the way I work. I try to do that in practice. I try to do that in games, day in and day out. So hopefully it rubs off on them. And then, I just try to be positive coming to the rink as much as I can. Obviously, there's moments in games and stuff like that where it's you kind of lose your cool sometimes. It's normal, but just the overall positivity for me is I'm hoping that I can rub off on guys, because I think that that's pretty contagious in a locker room, and it goes a long way for the success of the team.
I know you guys are looking at past seasons and you don't want to look at that, but Octobers have been tough. What's the message about getting off to a better start this year?
I think right away we got to play to our identity. It's important not to look at our opponents, but to look at ourselves and how we approach every game. It starts with obviously tomorrow. We know who's coming into this building. We got some home ice here for the next, I think, 3 games in a row here, maybe 4. I think we're in Utah. I don't know if that's game 4 or 5, whatever. It's going to be important for us to just play to our identity early, and the results will come. We just got to trust the process.
Mario, you also received a letter at a very young age. I think you were your 3rd year. And anyway, that experience here as a young alternate captain, anything that you can impart to Macklin about your experience?
I think for me, we were surrounded by a pretty young group. And so I think that when I was given the A, it was to kind of be like a leader of the young guys sort of thing, to represent the younger squad. And I think that that's kind of the position that Mac's in right now too. So I think really just being himself. He's a professional. He comes to the rink. He prepares well. He obviously performs on the ice. He's a fun guy to be around. You see the videos. You see you see him around the rink and stuff like that. So I think him just being himself, and the young guys will follow. And he's a good role model. He doesn't have to try very hard to be a leader. So I don't think I really have any advice other than that. That's sort of the mindset that I kind of brought. So yeah, hopefully, I think he'll do the same. I don't think I'll have a problem with it at all.